One of the things I've tried to do with the channel is not be a partisan hack and not give Trump flack for things that Obama was able to do that I ignored or otherwise would not condemn. And I've tried to remain consistent basically. Whenever a member of one party does something that is alike to a member of another, I criticize them both. And I do that because I've tried to solidify I don't have Trump derangement syndrome. I'm not so opposed to him that if he does something that is out of the orthodoxy of what I expect Republicans in charge to do, I'm not going to critique him for doing something I like effectively. So when he announced he was pulling out of Syria, I was really happy. But I think before there was a person who mentioned that a lot of times you have to be cautiously optimistic about this stuff because a lot of these politicians, Trump included, are snakes and they will lie to you. Let's get to this story. The Trump administration will leave 200 U.S. troops in Syria to act as a small peacekeeping group for an unknown amount of time after it pulls most forces from the country, the White House said on Thursday. That was yesterday. A small peacekeeping group of about 200 will remain in Syria for a period of time, White House spokeswoman Sarah Huckabee Sanders said in a statement, first reported by Reuters. The White House announced the decision after Trump spoke with Turkish President Tayyip Erdogan over the phone. Trump in December abruptly declared victory against the Islamic State in Iraq and Syria in the country and announced that the more than 2,000 U.S. troops in Syria would be withdrawn immediately. The administration has since changed its timeline and said that it will seek a withdrawal of most troops by the end of April. Trump's surprise decision promoted the resignation of former Defense Secretary James Mattis, and Trump has since received strong pushback from lawmakers who worry the Syrian Democratic Forces, Kurdish forces who helped in the fight against ISIS, would be threatened by Turkey without U.S. protection. A White House spokesman on Trump's call with Erdogan said the two leaders spoke about the creation of a possible safe zone in Syria. The administration has also put conditions on the full withdrawal of troops, including the total defeat of ISIS and assurances from Turkey that it will not target SDF fighters in Syria. There's a lot to unpack here. For people who are not able to, I guess, be aware of the coding in the language used here. So they mention a period of time. They tell you it's only a couple of troops we're leaving there. By definition, leaving a couple of troops there is not the same as withdrawing, which is the complete removal of American forces from a particular country. But more to the point, when I really do hate this phrasing because they act as if we've never. So when this war was going under Obama and when Bush had the Iraq War and Obama would do the same thing, they would withdraw some troops, and people go, "Oh my God, great, we're getting closer to victory." Then they would put some back. To kind of give you an example of what I'm talking about, imagine if you had, let's say, 7 quarters in a piggy bank, and you say, "I want all 7 of those out there," and I say, "Well, I'm going to take 6 out and leave 1." And then, you're like, okay, good, whatever. We're close to getting rid of these things. We almost have all the quarters out. And so then I put 8 more in. And then you say, hey, I want these out. And I go, okay, I'll take 7 of them out. So, most are gone, but we still have 2. And you go, no, I want all of these out. I go, okay, I'll take, we'll put 9 in here, right now. So now it's 11. And then you say, no, I want them out. Okay, we'll take most of them out and I leave 3. So you're taking one step forward and one step back, and you're never getting toward the particular goal of withdrawing from this country. This is the same stupid strategy that has allowed the U.S. to keep its troops that they treat like third class citizens. 27% of the homeless are veterans in Afghanistan for 18 years. This is the exact same strategy. They tell you, "Oh, we're getting closer. The victory is on its way," and then they don't do it. They never get to the point of just saying we're done. We're finished. All this stuff about protecting the Kurds and defeating ISIS. Man, look, whether it was Trump, whether it was Obama, whether it was Bush, the list goes on. The U.S. government could not care less about human casualties. I oftentimes bring up what happened in Yemen, but whatever. when you look at it historically and just the play the 200 the what was that 20,000 bombs that Obama dropped in 2016, this is a government that administration to administration has shown it does not care about human casualties. They're just not concerned. That's not a priority for them. So all that stuff about protecting the Kurds, it's not something that matters. In all actuality, they can say it, but if you actually look at it, it's not. No, the defense contractors are having their merry way yet again, and I really do feel stupid because I was tricked by Trump into thinking, oh my God, this is a great thing. The troops are finally coming home. Another wasteful, inconsequential, other than getting innocent people murdered, war is over, and it just stays. And when I think about all of his supporters, because I actually, when I was on Twitter, had a couple of them who would like my comments. They would go, oh, yeah, I'm glad that this non-Trump supporting person is, supporting a particular decision he made. And I said, look, it's because I actually have a belief system. If he pulled out of Syria, I wouldn't complain. If he pulled out of Afghanistan, I certainly wouldn't complain. Pretty much out of any of these countries he can pull out of, and I wouldn't have a negative thing to say about that. Um, but when I say that to them and they get that brief moment of, you objectionably looking at this stuff to where it positively reflects the person they like, they don't push back, they don't get mad, they get kind of giddy with this, oh my God, my person is creating some form of unity between me and this other user on social media. But if I go up to any of the ones who like that stuff and say, hey, your man, he backpedaled, he did like Romney, he flip-flopped, they will get pissed. They will call you a Democrat. They will tell you that you're only looking at this through your failed liberal ideology. And that's really what is so devastating about this stuff, that you can actually get people to support being opposed to these wars. But when you have two parties that for the most part are composed of nothing but members who support staying in these conflicts courtesy of their defense contractor donations, you're just going to keep on getting the same talking points that are oftentimes stated by neocons, whether they're on social media or they're actually in Trump's cabinet, like Pompeo or Bolton, who I can assure you, when they saw Trump announce we're getting out of Syria, they almost could have had heart attacks, because this is what they live for. They enjoy the idea of creating panic and chaos across the world using the bloods and the backs and oftentimes blood of American soldiers who are so patriotic and really want to do something for their country, but oftentimes find themselves being used for a purpose that is anything but good. I've mentioned before, we're in 150 different countries, and I try to explain the reason we're in all these countries is because we have a society that is unaware of that fact. And so when you are unaware of something happening, you don't push back against it, which enables the oligarchs to let their installed empty suit, usually whoever the president is or members of Congress, to just keep this thing going. And, I've tried to, this is why when I think about a lot of the topics I speak on, I go back oftentimes to the political stuff, knowing it won't get that many views because it matters. It's significant. We have 200 people who are literally going to now stay in a country as a small peacekeeping group for no reason. Remember what Trump said, right? Obama, decimated the military. We need to rebuild it. We need to get stronger. I don't understand how having less people there is strength. But look, that's not meant to be a slight at him necessarily, as far other than just for that piece of rhetoric, because his original plan I backed. But that's the thing with the Trump-induced sycophants. They will look at this entire thing. Sometimes they don't even watch the full thing, but they'll look at what I have to say, right? Where I have said, here's what he should have done. This is something that I liked, no matter who does it, and they'll still tell you that he's fine. This was a good idea. He realized his mistake. They always adjust their crap accordingly. And that's why I'm sick of it. And that's why I don't talk to any of them. That's why I don't have any conversations with them. I'm done. So they can keep, licking the sack of some orange clown that is so scared of his own cabinet he can't even make a decision, that even as the most powerful man on the planet. And the Americans can continue to let their own get massacred and slaughtered, in never-ending wars. Have fun.